how are you doing on supplies and protective equipment for health workers? Do you have a date on the calendar where you feel like you will have your hands around the problem in terms of supplying doctors and nurses and other healthcare workers with everything they need?
Substantively so. Look, we've been competing against other states, against other nations, against our own federal government for PPE, coveralls, masks, shields, substantively N95 masks. We're not waiting around any longer, and we're no longer interested in the progress that we were seeing in the past. In the last 48 hours, we have secured, through a consortia of nonprofits and a manufacturer here in the state of California, upwards of 200 million masks on a monthly basis that we're confident we can supply the needs of the state of California, potentially the needs of other Western states. And so we just inked a number of contracts in the last few days that give me confidence in being able to say that.
And those masks, you are making significant news here, Governor. Those masks will be manufactured in California?
No, they'll be manufactured overseas, but we were able to source them through California manufacturer and a consortium of nonprofits. And those are the vast majority of those masks are N95 masks at a price where we're not competing against others. We're not looking at gouging the fraud and the abuse in this space, competing against other states. We decided enough's enough. Let's use the power, the purchasing power of the state of California as a nation state. We did just that. And in the next few weeks, we're going to see supplies at that level into the state of California and potentially the opportunity to export some of those supplies to states in need.
And just to be perfectly clear on that, just to drill down on that, because I think you are going to make national news with this. You mentioned the number 200 million masks. This agreement that you've just signed, again, within the last 48 hours. Tell me about the overall number of masks you think you have been able to source this way and how that matches up against what you think you will be using in California. The prospect of California not only being able to meet its own needs, but potentially export masks could be a game changer for the Western United States.
So let me contextualize it very briefly. The state of California has distributed 41 million masks, 41.4 million N95 masks. We've received just over 1 million from the federal government. It's not an indictment. It's not a cheap shot. At the end of the day, they don't have the masks at the national stockpile. We were going out getting 5 million here, 500,000 there, 200,000 there, competing against other states, competing against the federal government. We decided enough of the small ball. Let's use our purchasing power. Let's go at scale. And we built a consortium of nonprofits and a large manufacturer with appropriate contacts in Asia. And now we have the confidence that 150 plus million N95 masks, 50 plus million surgical masks will come in on a monthly basis starting in the next few weeks.